Hello everyone, it's Kiki and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be painting on these. It's a 4 triangle set and my initial idea was to try and figure out how to paint like a landscape that you could move the pieces around and it would still make a landscape. But I still haven't figured out how to do that. And I need art contact. So I thought, you know what, I haven't done any fan art for quite a few things, so how about I do one of the fan arts I was planning on doing. I know that the last 3 weeks or so of traditional art I've done fan art, but I don't care, especially considering it's February. Fan art February makes sense, so meh. But on these I'm going to be doing Moana. So each one is going to kind of depict a different bit of Moana. I don't know if I'm going to do it like story-wise or just like things yet, but that's the plan. It's going to be Moana themed triangles, so let's figure out what I'm going to put on them and get started. So I started off with just painting the background the blue I wanted, and then adding in the water, and the first piece obviously had to be Moana. So before I started recording, I went on Google and found some reference pictures of everything I was going to do, which included Moana, Maui, Grandma Manta Ray, and then Taka and Te Fiti, who would end up on the final piece together. I felt that they were the most central pieces. I had thought about just doing Te Fiti or just doing Taka, but they're the same person, and they're both important in their own way, and I only had 4 pieces, so they ended up together. Because I didn't want to leave Grandma out, because Grandma's very important, and she's amazing, and she reminds me of my grandma. But I tried really hard to get the blending, especially of the skin on Moana and Maui, to look more natural and not so blocky like how Chihiro ended up looking in my Spirited Away fan art. I didn't spend a lot of time on Chihiro in that just because that picture was already taking me 4 days to finish, and I needed to get it done. So I did sort of kind of half-ass Chihiro on that. But I wanted to try and take a little bit more time on the two of them to make them look a little bit better and more natural looking. I still have a long way to go, like Moana's lips, and it's bad. I did sort of manage to fix them up off camera after, because the recording stopped, and then I fixed them and blah. One of the other things I tried to do between each picture, I didn't want them all to look exactly the same background wise, so I tried to give each of them a different time of day. So Moana's more like, I guess, like the more middle of the day. Grandma Manta Ray is at night, but darker sky and some stars. Maui is a little bit earlier in the day, the sky's a bit later, and then Te Fiti and Taka are more at like dawn. And I think it turned out really, really well, all 4 of them. My favorite is definitely the Te Fiti Taka one, with Grandma Manta Ray coming in a close second. It was really hard finding a reference picture of her in her glowy Manta Ray self that wasn't just like a 2D image that someone had done of it, or just general fan art of it. But I managed to find one that was decent enough I could go off of. My biggest issue with Maui, honestly, was his tattoos, because I didn't quite position or proportion them right, so some of them kind of are missing. But it's, you know, it is what it is. For his background, I tried to make it look like the stones on the island Moana found him on. I sort of think I succeeded. They're really subtle and off to the side, but I like the clouds. And I do like how Maui turned out in general. He's not quite as beefy as he probably could have been, but I do really like how he turned out, and I feel like I managed to get the shading pretty good on him. I'm not sure what I would say the hardest bit to do was, because all of them had their little things that made them difficult. Like with Dakar, it's fire and brimstone essentially, which I don't even really do digitally, let alone traditionally, so it's kind of winging it on that one. And I mean, it doesn't look too bad. Like, now that I've stepped away from it and looked back at it, it looks better than I initially thought, but it's still, I need to work on painting fire and lava and stuff. But she looks better on camera, let's put it that way. But she doesn't look too bad, and Te Fiti was fun, mainly because she was simple. I didn't go super detailed on either of them, just because I was trying to put both of them on the same one, so I had to shrink them a bit compared to Moana and Maui. So they're more generalization, simplified sort of versions. Like, I don't put a lot of detail into Te Fiti's face. But I really like how... Oh gosh, let me go back. The gradient on trying to do the background for Taka and Te Fiti, it took me well over half an hour, just because it wasn't laying down the way I wanted it to, so I kept having to go back and fix it, and there's like a really thick layer of paint on that canvas now. But I finally got it to a point where I was really happy, and overall I'm really happy with the entire thing, and just how they all look together as a single piece, as well as how they look together on their own. And I'm really glad I decided to do this, and I may get another one of these set of 4 and do something similar with some other show or movie or something, because it was fun, and I like the composition idea of it, you know, and you can move them around how you want, blah blah blah. And yeah, that's about all I got to say. Alright, so I am all finished. It's a bit hard to show everything. I'm really happy with how all the panels came out. I'd had a few different ideas while I was doing it. One was, you know, just have it so that it had the entire picture come the whole way down. But then I was like, because I still wanted to keep the sort of concept of you can move the pieces. So if I had everything going down this way and you move the pieces, then it wouldn't make sense all the time. So I did it that each block was its own scene. That way you can set them next to who you want to set them next to. So like you can, you know, instead of having these two like that, you can put them like that kind of. Honestly, I think my favorite might be this one, even though to cause a bit of a mess. Lava and cracked stone and fire and I have enough trouble with water
with paint. I have gotten better though. Fire is an even bigger step on my to-do list. But I'm really happy with how the dynamic of it turned out, and I really like how I got the colors to blend together. I'm actually really happy with these two as well. I feel blending wise I did better on them as people. Like, they look a little bit more like people than Chihiro did. The blending on Chihiro wasn't great. So I tried to spend a little bit more time making sure I blended and got shadows and highlights and stuff like that. And then Grandma Manta Ray! I was originally going to do Grandma and Grandma Manta Ray, and I was on a time crunch, and that'd be 3 people. And no. Maybe I'll do Grandma by herself another time. But no, I had fun with this, and I really like how it came out, and I like the fact that you can move the pieces and they all kind of work, and they're all sort of a different time of day, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, then, you know, hit the subscribe button and the little bell, and join me on my art journey, and we'll see where we end up. I'll see you next time. Bye.